All right, today we're going to dive into a huge topic, one that pretty much shapes every single decision we make: ethics and morality. But hey, don't worry, this isn't going to be some dry philosophy lecture. Not at all. Think of this more like a practical guide to living a good, meaningful life. So, where do we even begin?
Well, let's start by tackling a huge misconception. When you hear that word morality, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it just a big list of rules? A bunch of restrictions and thou shalt nots? You know, it's a super common way to think about it, but that view kind of misses the real heart of the matter.
The real definition is so much more empowering. See, morality isn't about what you can't do, it's about how you use your freedom. It's the framework that helps us actively build a life that actually has purpose, both for ourselves and for everyone around us.
At its core, it really boils down to the why behind all our choices. It's that set of principles that helps us figure out the difference between right and wrong, and that doesn't just influence our actions in the moment, it shapes the entire direction of our lives.
But you know, if it were that easy, we wouldn't even need to talk about it. The reality is, trying to navigate these principles can be incredibly complex. We're constantly getting pulled in different directions, and figuring out the right choice is rarely a straight line.
And here's where it really gets tricky. We're all constantly trying to balance two really powerful forces. On one side, you have your personal values, your own internal compass. And on the other side, you've got the expectations of your community, your family, your friends, society. And a lot of the time, these two are in conflict.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Have you ever felt like you're one person at home and maybe a slightly different person when you're at school or out with your friends? That's this exact conflict playing out in real life. It's that tension between our own internal values and all those external pressures that can make us feel, well, a little inconsistent.
So, how in the world do we navigate this maze of competing values and expectations without totally losing our way? That, right there, is where ethics comes into the picture. If morality is the destination, living a good life, then you can think of ethics as the map and compass that we use to get there.
This is exactly why ethics is such a powerful tool. It's the active process of studying our own moral beliefs. It's all about taking a step back, really reflecting on our options, and then making a conscious choice instead of just, reacting to whatever the world throws at us.
And the word itself actually gives us a big clue. It comes from the Greek word ethos, which means character or a way of life. So when you study ethics, you are literally studying how to build a good character and live a good life. Pretty cool, right?
Now, this often leads to a really common question. Hey, don't we have laws for all this stuff? Why do we even need ethics if we have a whole legal system? But just think about it. Can something be perfectly legal but still feel deeply, fundamentally wrong?
And that's the key difference right there. Laws are designed to maintain social order. They ask a pretty simple question: is it legal? But ethics aims way higher. It's about promoting a good life, and it asks a much deeper question: is it moral? You could say the law is the baseline, but ethics is the standard we should all be striving for.
Okay, so we've separated ethics from law, but there's another major source of moral guidance for tons of people out there: religion. So how does ethics fit in with faith?
The big distinction really comes down to where the guidance comes from. Religion often provides it through faith and divine revelation. Ethics, on the other hand, gives us a framework for moral reflection using reason. And what that means is that ethics is a universal tool. It's accessible to absolutely everyone, no matter what their beliefs are.
So, we've defined morality, and we have ethics as our tool to figure it out. But this all leads to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? Why even bother? What's the real-world benefit of trying to be a moral person? I mean, what's the point?
The answer actually has huge implications for our everyday lives. At the most basic level, moral principles like, say, do no harm, literally sustain life itself. On a more personal level, moral qualities like honesty and loyalty, that's the glue that strengthens our relationships. And on a grand scale, morality is what promotes harmony and allows entire societies to function and flourish.
So when you put it all together, you really get to the heart of why this all matters so much. It's about having the tools to reflect on our values, to make choices we can actually stand by, and ultimately to act with integrity. It's not just some abstract idea, it's a practical skill for living.
So in the end, this whole journey is not just about following rules. It's about becoming a better version of ourselves, and by doing that, we contribute to the well-being of everyone around us. Which really leaves us with the real question, not just
what is moral, but what kind of person do I want to become?